thank you all for joining us. We're really happy that you're all here. This is a session on how do tools get implemented through large organizations. And we're calling it Confessions and Comebacks, the real stories behind enterprise content transformation. I'm Rob Giglio. I'm the Chief Customer Officer here at Canva. And if you were in the keynote this morning, you heard about a lot of really great features. And you heard a lot about some tools that work together, like Canva as the base, the platform. You heard about Affinity, you heard about Leonardo and Flourish. Now, these are tools that work together to allow us all to do a lot of content production. But when you have a lot of tools, it gets a little sticky. And the question that I hear all the time from teams when I'm out meeting with customers is, I have these tools that I want to work with, and I have different people working with different tools in different spaces. But is there a way that we could pull it all together so that we could work more efficiently as an organization? And I would wonder, with a quick show of hands, has anyone in the audience ever had to implement a tool through their team? Raise your hand. OK, that was a bit of a softball. I knew you'd say yes to that one. But let me ask another question. Have you ever had to do that and then use those tools in either a highly regulated industry like financial services? Yes. Or real estate, where you want to stay on brand? Of course. So I think you've come to the right place. And you've come to listen to two pretty incredible experts. And what we're going to talk about is confessions and comebacks. And between the before of I want to implement this tool and the after of these tools are adding incredible value, there is something that we would call the messy middle. And that's what this session is really all about. So the two people that have joined me on stage have been through this, and they're going to share their lessons with you today. I'm going to invite them to talk a little bit about themselves. The first person we have right next to me is Andrea. She's from Morgan Stanley. And the one design color that she hates most in marketing materials is?
Green.
Green. She doesn't like green in design.
Sorry.
I feel the same way. I don't like a lot of green in design. And on her side, we have Sandra Howard, the CMO of Keller Williams. The design color that she loves most is?
Red.
Red.
Oh.
Black. Or
Because of?
Because I work for the most amazing brand, and those are our brand colors.
Those are the brand colors. That's fantastic. So those were icebreaker questions that I did not set them up with. You just get to hear, no green, give me red. I would love it if I could pass it off to you, and we'll start with Andrea. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about your organization.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much, Rob and Canva, for having me. My name is Andrea Zaretsky. I lead marketing at Morgan Stanley for wealth management, which is really a family of brands, including E-Trade. I'm a career marketer. I have been with this firm 6 years. Prior to that, this longest stretch of my career was at American Express. I was there for 15 years. And then I did a little stint I went outside financial services to see, are my marketing skills translatable? And I actually spent 2 years at Sephora. So I did a little work in beauty, which was super fun. But thrilled to be here today. Hopefully we'll have some stories that will help you when you take this back to work, because transformation is possible even in a very highly regulated industry like financial services.
Sandra.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sandra Howard. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Keller Williams. I have been at Keller Williams for 7 months. So thrilled to be a part of the company and the industry that is new to me, coming from 13 years at AT&T, before that Southwest Airlines, and before that Burger King Corporation. So yes, it makes sense to sell burgers and airline seats and cell phone plans and technology, and now real estate.
That's amazing. I feel very fortunate for all of us to have two professionals that have touched some of the world's leading brands. And I don't want to waste any more time. I want to get right into it. What you'll see up here is that we have confession and we have comeback. The idea of this session is to really unearth a confession, the kinds of things that we don't like to talk about that might have occurred during a rollout. And so we're going to ask the question of our audience, of our speakers, what did you underestimate? And we'll go ahead and we'll start first with you, Sandra. What did you underestimate about scaling content across an enterprise as large as Keller Williams?
Yes, so for those of you that don't know, Keller Williams is the largest real estate franchise in the world. And having worked for other large corporations, one thing I drastically underestimated is also the highly distributed nature of real estate in Keller Williams specifically. And so what was our most valuable asset also became our biggest challenge in implementation, because beyond a launch, beyond getting something out there, checking a box, and being able to go on a 1-week vacation right after, then comes the hard work really of adoption. So at Keller Williams, it's not necessarily about generating the awareness, as I discovered as I reoriented my thinking, that it was about 150,000 plus individual decisions to adopt and engage.
Yeah.
That was a huge challenge.
Well, I mean, I think it'd be easy to miss the sort of meta point, which is an organization like Keller Williams having 150,000 users is not just about, can I get them to use this feature or that feature? It's,
right.
Are they aware? Are they using it? And is it adding a lot of value?
That's absolutely right.
I would love to pivot it to the comeback. So
Okay.
That was the challenge. How did you solve it?
So I'm very fortunate that I sit inside of a company whose values are based fundamentally on teaching, training, and coaching. And Keller Williams prides itself in investing more into our real estate agents than any other real estate company. And so with that being said, we very, very carefully crafted a plan that sustained momentum throughout a longer period of time than one might imagine, because to your point, creating awareness is only the very teeny tiny first step, and creating an understanding of what is required for adoption, for engagement, and then coming back and publishing again, and realizing, quite frankly, failures in some cases at the onset, because not everyone has the same net digital capabilities to engage with a platform like this. So you're also dealing with a very stratified skill set. And key, super important, is how we continue to engage, to teach, train, and coach for adoption, because ultimately this tool and our partnership with Canva is here for a reason. It's to garner extreme benefit by way of productivity. So we're not doing our job unless we're ensuring that that adoption is taking place and that our users are publishing at a high level, because we know what that means, right? That means time saved. That means more time spent with clients and customers and closing deals.
That's awesome. So I'm gonna like interpret it in my head. What I'm like taking away, the lesson learned is, you can't just like tell everybody you get to use Canva and then walk away, hope that they understand it and have it work. You have to actually do what you did, which is like get out and provide training and engagement and teach the organization how to get the most out of it.
That definitely has been a success for us. And a success for us because it's not forced, because it's who we already are and how we operate as a brand. And so just one quick point of evidence to that is that we set out to achieve and out-deliver industry benchmarks for SaaS adoption, right? It's like, what does success look like? Where do we start? How do we know if this is working for us or not? So we got industry benchmarks. We set that as our ceiling in terms of what we wanted to accomplish. And in only 7 months post-launch, we have nearly doubled industry norms for SaaS adoption at Keller Williams. And that is solely, responsible for that are the agents that are embracing it, because it's a much needed tool and a platform, and the investment from the company in teaching, training, and coaching for enablement. So I am so thrilled because I love this stat, so I shout it from the rooftops, is we have at Keller Williams today nearly 50% adoption in 7 months' time of Canva, with nearly 1.3, well, in excess actually, of 1.3 million designs published. So when we were at the keynote earlier and I heard 74 billion designs, I quickly pulled out my calculator to do what is 1.3 of 74 billion. It was not even 1%, but I thought it might be something impressive. But yeah.
Well, you're goal oriented. You're gonna get there, no doubt.
I'm goal oriented, yes.
I love it. Thank you, Sandra. So I'm gonna shift gears to something that's a little bit different. So I would describe it as like you both have brand requirements. There's brand, I guess, tenets that you're trying to live up to. And so that's one of the guardrails that you both live with. But you actually have slightly different business dynamics. You have more of a scale challenge with the number of users, whereas you, in financial services, have a different set of challenges. And I would love for you to tell the audience a little bit about the challenges you face. But are you all hearing that? That's pretty loud. Sorry. Financial services being so highly regulated makes
tones of my voice.
it's probably me. I apologize. So how does that shape the way you manage a rollout like Canva at Morgan Stanley?
I think I'll try to share a couple of use cases to bring to life what we're trying to do. So social media as an example. We know that social and culture moves incredibly quickly and you need to be responsive and as real time as possible. And traditionally, Morgan Stanley, extremely large company, 18 handles, it's a big family of brands, 5 platforms, so thousands of posts per year to manage. And historically and previously, to create a social media post, sometimes we were using external agencies. Imagine the iterative back and forth that could lead to days of trying just to create a post. So what we did is we worked with Canva to create consistent templates that would be brand safe, compliance approved, bring in everything we know we need to do to satisfy our adherence to policy and procedures. And we created templates that everyone can use so that now what used to take, 2 days, maybe at the best 8 hours, could be done in under a half hour. And so the team is leveraging this across the firm to post. It helps us be part of the conversation, taking advantage of moments that matter. One example I think on the screen behind me is we do a conference too for our Morgan Stanley at Work brand called Thrive. A little different than Canva Create, but also super cool. And now we're able to live post from the conference and make sure we build excitement and anticipation. And we've seen some really great moves. And I think part of the success was bringing in all of our partners from legal, compliance, risk on this journey with us to design something that could work for the company.
I love it. So that's a pretty big challenge to get over. It sounds like you solved it. I'll be interested. It seems like live music and dancers would definitely be within. There's no regulation around that, right? You're fine with that?
Little nerves there.
So I'm going to watch for Thrive next year to see what kind of excitement you'll bring.
It's true.
I guess the question that I should ask, which is like, what is the comeback off your confession, which is, how did you actually do it? How did you build that into your system?
Yeah, there's also one nuance here, and I'll give another use case. So we were talking about marketers and providing design tools that work for marketers. What about the majority of employees who are not native marketers? How do we empower them with design tools that will enable them to build their business? So we have 16,000 financial advisors who are looking to showcase their talent, their expertise, and they're not marketers. So the next challenge in terms of how do we scale and expand what we did with social, how do we make that more, how do we bring that utility to the rest of the firm? So with financial advisors, the use case I give there is every year a certain number of financial advisors win an accolade or an award. It's like the equivalent of a Michelin star for a chef or a restaurant. And they want to promote that win to help build their business and also retain clients. So this is a huge area of focus. So we created very easy to use, intuitive, seamless templates that they could use to help promote their win. I think we have a picture of that here. So the way we did this and the way we approached it is a pilot. We know we couldn't tackle this like at scale initially, so we did a small pilot of 20 financial advisors, and together with them, we co-created this template that they could use and that we hoped would work. And you can see the results here. Now they're able to use this, and we're on the next part of the journey, which is now that we have the pilot feedback, the iteration, the co-creation, and the engagement, we are now on the journey to scale. And what that means for them and what they want is the ability to do hyper-personalization. So it's not enough just maybe to showcase the win, but what's unique and special about their practice? How do we create within our template the ability to showcase maybe their regional location? You can see here San Francisco. Maybe their expertise or specialty. You can see along the bottom that in addition to the group we're talking about, their expertise in tax planning or philanthropy, we can now showcase. So I think those are some use cases that help bring to life how we were able to move it through the system.
That's a great story. I mean, there's so many lessons in it. I think some of the ones that I was pulling out were that you started small and then you scaled up.
That's right.
You set objectives for yourself. You like had benchmarks in the same way that Sandra had benchmarks for herself. The thing that I think you both share in common that I think many of us, if we're leading a marketing team, a design team, or a sales team, the thing that we have in common is oftentimes the people who are putting hands on keyboards, who you want to empower,
That's right.
they aren't designers, or they may not be like really sophisticated marketers. So finding a way to bring it to life for them to make it easy is important.
And I would build on that because the benefit is twofold. Our people are benefiting by way of increasing productivity and showing their best selves to their clients and customers. And we are benefiting because now we're leveling up together the marketing fundamentals of our brand and how our brand shows up. I mean, for those of you that are here in real estate, you know you can go to any city and the same brand will look very different because real estate is super entrepreneurial. And at the same time, you've chosen to attach yourself and affiliate with the company. So there's value in that brand recognition. There's value in that consistency. There's value in knowing what that brand looks like. At the same time, there's value in your personal identity. And without some structure and without the skill set to be able to thread the needle, then all of a sudden, the brand just denigrates. I think this morning, whoever said it so well, one font at a time, before you know it, right? You don't recognize the brand any longer.
Yeah.
And there is a designer in all of us. It's true.
Yes.
There is.
Everyone wants to be a marketer.
It's true.
Everyone wants to be a marketer, all up and down the corporate chain and out in the real world until they have to be a marketer. Then they don't want to be a marketer anymore. And they said, please help me. I don't know what I'm doing. This is really hard. I thought it'd be easy. It's not.
I've heard a CMO use a great statement about the similar dynamic that you're dealing with, which is that at some level, from a brand standpoint, we really ask our employees to fit in. But at the same time, we want them to stand out.
Ooh,
And so it's sort of the dynamic, the tension between fitting in and standing out. And I think what you both have done is you've found a way to put guardrails on it so they can fit in, but at the same time, you've empowered them to stand out. I don't want to miss the opportunity, and we do have a couple of minutes here. It's not often that we get a chance to be with two CMOs who have been CMOs and marketing leaders in the world's best brands. So I don't want to miss the opportunity to provide a little bit of mentorship, if you will, right? So this might be forced mentorship. It's not one-on-one. These two are available. If you'd like personal mentoring, you can track them down on LinkedIn, I'm sure. But for the group, how about this question? If you were mentoring someone, and I'll start with you, Andrea. Like, what would you share with them about managing transformation as a marketer?
I think something that has worked really well is find the early adopters and make them your evangelists. For example, with this AI transformation and adoption, find the people who are natively experimenting, who are passionate about it, and empower them and recognize them, and let them lead the way for your team as they're going through this major, inflection. The other thing I'd say, the advice I'd give is measure, measure, measure. Particularly marketers. We know sometimes we're met with some dubiousness, if that's a word. You want to measure everything. So with the examples I gave you, what was the time savings? What was the cost savings? So that you can truly show the business case of the transformation in language that everyone can understand in these large institutions. So measure, measure, measure would be my other point.
Great advice. Okay, Sandra, You're mentoring a room of several hundred people.
Yes.
What's your advice?
I would say find the place, be specific. Don't try to boil the ocean at first. Be specific and be calculated about the place you want to build confidence, because confidence breeds advocacy. Confidence multiplies more than what I could do on my own or with our team.
Yeah.
So as we think about building confidence, think about what that means for you, your employees, your company, your peers, your people. Canva does, as we even saw with what we saw earlier. I couldn't even list all the things I saw in the keynote, but they're all fabulous, I'm sure. I am confident that there are probably 1 to 3 things that for your peers or your company, they would be most meaningful based on what you're trying to accomplish and what gaps you currently have. Lean into something and start to build confidence from there. Once that confidence takes set, then you grow your aperture for all the things that you and your people and your team can do. But you've got to start somewhere. This can be a massive undertaking if you let it. I'll give you a good example. We have our trainers here in the room, in this session. They're here learning. And they're here learning to spread the word and to go out and teach and train and coach. That builds confidence. It's like, if you think you can't, yes, you can. I'm going to show you how. And then we just go from there.
That's awesome.
And before you know it, you're at almost 50% adoption.
I can see why the two of you are CMOs at some of the world's largest companies. Like, you exude confidence, you have great experience and great skill. We are incredibly thankful for your contributions of ideas. I'm going to try to summarize a little bit what I think we heard. And there's more than just these 3, but first, let's invest beyond the initial launch day. It's not about just general awareness of this new tool. It's about adoption. And it's about continuing to push through all the way down to small groups. It's freedom to fit in and stand out, freedom within a framework. And in both of your cases, you have to have brand guardrails. So governance matters, whether you're in financial services or you have a brand that you care deeply about, that you're publishing out through hundreds of thousands of team members. Those things matter a great deal. Is there anything that you think we've missed? Any other lesson learned that you would want to just drop before we roll?
I find an incredible partner who listens to you and your clients' needs and helps you design the solutions that meet your. I think that is critical.
Thank you. I didn't even pander for that. That just came. That was a freebie.
It's really important, though.
Thank you. Sandra, anything?
I would just say, go play. Have fun. I mean, this is the most amazing creative tool, and just go in there, roll up your sleeves, lean in. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fail.
Yeah.
Nothing, you may not work the first time, but just keep at it. Enjoy the creative process that it is, and just keep at it. It will happen. It will come together, and before you know it, the efficiencies show up, the teams become more productive, time earned back starts to show up, but just keep at it and enjoy. I mean, there's lots of other things in the world we could do that we have to do over and over to learn that aren't nearly as amazing and fun as this. So enjoy it and go play.
Thank you, thank you. So a couple of quick things before we wrap up. First of all, I would invite you to scan the QR code. This QR code is going to give you a download of a curated resource pack. In that resource pack, we have something called the State of Visual Communication Report. We have practical AI guides, and we have a number of Canva for Enterprise resources that you could draw upon for your own rollout. So that's number 1. Number 2, and maybe the most important, is I would love it if you could give these 2 wonderful guests a massive round of applause. Thank you. I hope you have a great day at Canva Create 2026. Thank you.